feel?
Questioning my life choices. And our first crash happened.
So, we'd done it. We had officially completed the Trans-American Trail. I'm fairly certain we're in a small group of people who can say they finished the TAT 2 up. We were proud of ourselves, and honestly, we were quite ready to be done. So, we began the 1,000-mile journey back to Park City, Utah. Almost immediately, we started to see wildfires in the distance. They were everywhere. We downloaded a forest fire app on our phones, and we tried to figure out how to safely navigate our way back to Utah. Wildfires are scary. They're scary when you're in a car, let alone a motorcycle. We felt pretty vulnerable. If the bike was to break down again, we weren't really sure we'd be able to even get a tow truck. Zoe, how are we feeling?
Not great. I'm a little bit terrified.
Why are you nervous?
Because it looks like the sky is on fire.
Ah!
So, here's the deal. It's called the antelope fire. Or no, here's the deal. Up until now, I was like, everyone's just over-exaggerating the fires. Like, you can see them from far. They're pretty local, pretty small. We can go around them. And now we've arrived at this, which does not look local at all. It looks freaking everywhere. And yeah, all the locals say it's 80 miles away and that we're safe. I don't feel safe.
We just met some really nice people who said they have horses. I am interested in riding the horses. But they're like, we just got a little motel down the road. Wow, look at this. Look at the sun.
Still see the sun.
Or not sun.
Yeah, locals seem to say we're good. I don't know how well I'll sleep tonight, but
it's a little bit scary.
yeah, everybody seems to be in town because there's a bunch of cars parked in front of all the houses. I also knew better than our motel guy because he was like, "It's the bootleg fire." And I'm like, "No, it's not." And it turns out it's not.
Very kind people at Martin's Food Center. Where are we?
I forget what it's called.
We're in Merrill, Oregon, which is right on the border of California.
And it's on fire. Let's go.
All right. This is the closest we've been to a real fire, I think.
There you go. You can kind of see it.
So, behind us is what, that's normal.
Well, sort of. It's still very smoky.
That's relatively normal, and then and that's not a sunset, I don't think. That's fire.
Oh, yeah, it should be full on sunny right now. Right? If this was a blue sky, it would be full on sunny. But because of the smoke, it's black and red.
As we passed through certain parts of the road, my iPhone would start beeping and vibrating, indicating that we were in an active evacuation zone and that we needed to leave immediately. As we'd go through towns, we could see evidence of this. People were packing up their stuff and evacuating. Well,
I'm not in the mood.
we are on our way to we're in California, and the fires continue. So I have put a mask on. I made Zoe get hers. She's unhappy about it, but I think it's a good idea. She doesn't like stopping, and she doesn't like the smoke. I don't blame her. It's not fun. It's really, really smoky. I feel like that's a mountain. You should see way past it, but you don't. You just see smoke. And there's no color grade on this video. It's just smoky. But I think it's kind of cool, honestly.
Okay, let's Go.
Gosh. All right, we're out of here. Okay. What's the air quality index?
Apparently it's 500.
500. The last time we were in was 150. So, it's pretty bad. This is Susanville, California. We just stumbled across it. Just driving, and turns out we're here. Breathing in pollution. Unhealthy air. But we got a full tank. And full hearts. Believe it or not, this footage was shot about 3 hours later on the same day. Using our wildfire map, we navigated away from the antelope fire and made our way towards Lake Tahoe. When we got to Tahoe, the sun was shining and there was no smoke to be seen for miles. People seemed totally oblivious to the apocalyptic conditions in Susanville, just a few miles away. Unfortunately, later that week, Tahoe experienced some of the worst fires they've ever had. After exploring Lake Tahoe a bit, we decided to try our luck out once again with the Adventure Rider Forum and use the tent space section to see if we could find some hosts for the night. To our delight, we met this lovely couple in Carson City, Nevada, who let us sleep on their sun porch. They fed us a wonderful breakfast in the morning and even let us try out their trials bike. I'd never ridden one of these things before and really enjoyed putting around the yard on it.
Bye, guys.
Well, here we are. Bike overheated for a second time. We are in Nevada. Haven't made it very far. Trying to figure out what the right solution is because I don't know. It overheated, coolant sprayed out of the reservoir tank just like it happened in Colorado, but this time, I don't know, really the same thing. So letting it cool off and gonna add some coolant and see what happens. The fan never came on, which is worrying. I have a feeling it could be the radiator fan still, but we'll see. We are in the middle of nowhere. All right, so update, we are on the loneliest highway.
Basically crosses Nevada right down the middle.
They call it the loneliest highway, but as you can hear,
There's a lot of
there's
cars,
cars.
which is good.
As you saw, the bike overheated. Again, just like I did in Salida, same thing, red light, out of the expansion tank,
Coolant
shot out.
Although this time you didn't ask me if it was raining.
I knew what it was this time right away, smelled it. So we pulled over, let the bike cool off, pulled off all the fairings and opened up the radiator cap, and there was coolant left in there. Reservoir tank was empty. We squeezed the hoses a little bit, tried to get the air bubbles out. And then I thought, this is bad news because it's not functioning. Whatever's, it's not cooling the bike. And so
we met a nice couple who offered to put the bike on a trailer for us, take it back to the nearest town, which is Fallon.
It's like 15 miles.
15, 20 miles, not far. And turns out their side-by-side was a little too big, and the BMW wouldn't really fit on the trailer with it. So I just rode it. Zoe jumped in the back with them, took some weight off the bike, and we just rode it to Fallon. Sat there for an hour at a Starbucks in a Safeway, and called the tow truck driver who was coming to Fallon to tow the bike. And we're sitting there diagnosing it, and you know.
And the bike just looks fine.
Well, the thing is when I rode it from the point at which we'd stopped on the highway and went back to Fallon, it didn't overheat. Like, it didn't even get close to overheating. It was only 3 bars, went to 4 just barely on the temperature scale, the engine. And so I wasn't that nervous about it. So we said, you know what, let's, meet the truck driver on Highway 50. Made some progress.
We were gonna wait for him for like 4 to 5 hours. So
yeah, so
any progress we can make this way, if we make an hour progress, that saves us 2 hours.
Yeah, so we're going really slow. We're going.
Well, we're going 60.
We're going.
I mean, we'll see how well it does these next 30 miles, but it's working.
It's been fine, yeah. And the reason we're doing this check-in is because I wanted to stop, let the bike cool down. So.
I'm never too cautious.
Yeah, we're just being cautious, and we'll see. The suspicions were, well, water pump seemed to be functioning. So I pulled the thermostat cap off, or the radiator cap off, and I could see fluid spinning. Radiator fan, which we replaced in Salida. And then maybe some fancy computer sensor. Maybe next time I should just buy a KLR 650. That way it will get us there, but it'll be easier to fix when it does break. Because you do 6,000 miles on something, it's probably gonna break. Although, not always.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would do this twice.
Billy's getting towed in the back, but we picked a cool spot to meet the driver. Let's check out what is on the ground here.
Shoes.
That is a lot of shoes in the middle of nowhere in Nevada.
On a tree.
There are literally maybe 1,000 pairs.
There's some Converse over there.
There's everywhere on this tree.
Kind of a cool thing to find in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what's not cool? That. That's not cool. I mean, it is cool that we got a driver and he met us way out here.
And he's taking us 3 hours to our destination.
In the right direction.
Yeah.
Yes, sure. We could have gotten the bike fixed in Reno at a BMW dealer. We didn't want to do that though. We were ready to be done. We wanted to make it back to Park City, and at this point, we weren't willing to wait around for parts and an expensive diagnosis from a dealership. So, we were pretty thankful for this driver who came all the way from Ely, Nevada to pick us up in Carson City. He took us about 4 hours back to Ely, where we unloaded the bike and got some much needed rest.
All right, Billy's all naked. No more baggage. Going in a U-Haul.
I know. Well, this is where our journey ends. Or maybe it's where it begins.
This is where Billy's journey ends.
This is where Billy's journey ends. McGill, Nevada.
It's been a
In
good
the
bike.
back of a U-Haul with no ramp. So some locals helped us back it in. Very nice people. 6,000 miles, he did it. You.
How does it feel?
Terrible.
I'm enjoying it.
Final gas fill up of the trip.
No.
$42 and counting. Oh man, I think it's gonna be 48. That's my guess.
Oh, come on. Just stop.
Oh, brutal.
Okay, can I stop it
No,
now?
you gotta fill it up because if you got it full. This is our last fill up. This is the U-Haul. It's not, usually it's like
I don't have this kind of money.
$9 to fill up a vehicle. Not this tank though.
It's approaching 58 now. I guess we did do 230 miles of it.
Holy tamale.
You're a thirsty boy. That's enough.
No, you gotta fill it. Stop. Stop.
Ow.
69.
So this U-Haul cost us $300, not $170.
Yeah.
But we knew gas was gonna
I'm
be.
gonna double check what the thing is. Alright, let's check the gauge.
Alright.
It's full.